Shalom from Jerusalem, my lovely. And for today's update, I want to address something that I discussed yesterday, but is relevant today because it has to do with honor and shame. And just a few minutes ago, the news in Israel showed footage of a live broadcast from Iranian state television the moment that the shadranit, how do you say shadranit in English? The host was talking and explaining that the noise everyone is hearing outside is from Israel. And at that moment, there was an explosion in the studio and she ran off very, very scared. And so why that ties into what I was discussing yesterday is because, like I said, the Middle East is about honor and shame. So if I can explain it like this, if you have a leader and they are killed in a what is perceived to be a valiant way or an honorable way, then their legend lives on and they actually get more followers once that happens. But if you can weaken a leader or by perception and then they die or then they flee, then they're considered dishonorably discharged and therefore won't have the following that they would have had otherwise. And so that's why how you win in the Middle East matters more than whether you win. And it's one of the things that you will notice when Hamas, when they released the hostages, they did these big parades and they shamed the Israeli hostages with big signs of I am a prisoner and whatever. The reason they did that is because in the Middle East, it was all about shaming Israel and making Hamas look amazing so that they could recruit another 30,000 fighters, which they did. So that's what just happened in Iran. And of course, the bombings continue. The word is right now that Iran is interested in having a conversation and maybe becoming a little more flexible with the idea of the nuclear talks. This is after a few hours before they said that they were pulling out of some international organization that had to do with them being responsible with their nuclear program. So in the meantime, Israelis are focused on getting Israelis home, and we have a whole fleet of planes in which we are going to be sending to the four corners of the earth to gather our people. Some 150,000 Israelis are trying to get home right now. It is a big deal. We have some staff that are stuck overseas, definitely people that are supposed to be flying out that aren't able to fly out, and they're making plans to do it, essentially flying planes in, having them land, 20 minutes you're on the ground, and then back up and out of here. Of course, there's lots of ships that are coming in from Cyprus to try to help people escape by boat, or leave, or come in by boat. And it's a very intense time. Last night, something happened that was very significant when Iran fired a ballistic missile and hit a bomb shelter directly. And the reason this matters is because up to this point, there's only one time where Israelis or anyone has been in a bomb shelter and has been killed while in the bomb shelter. It happened about a year ago. There was a child, he was in a bomb shelter, and Hezbollah had fired some rockets and some shrapnel somehow flew through the wall or window, and whatever it was, it turned out to be that the bomb shelter was not built properly. And that was the only way that they could explain it, because they are supposed to be the safest place that you can be. The problem is that ballistic missile, which again, if you look it up, they're huge, had a direct hit to this bomb shelter and killed the 3 people inside. And this is very scary for Israelis because the idea was essentially if you're in a bomb shelter, you should be safe. But ballistic missiles are huge. And if it's a direct hit, then it's a direct hit. And the good news was because it was a direct hit, the rest of the building was very lightly damaged because the bomb shelter was able to absorb much of the impact. But the bad news is that the people in that bomb shelter did not make it. And that has been very, very difficult for Israelis to process today. The Houthis in Yemen are still firing at us. And during the day, we have drones that are essentially sent over northern Israel, the Galilee, and the Golan area, and then down south, Eilat and the Beersheba desert area. Those are shot down by our helicopters. They are tricky. And the other thing that has been going on is that Iran, out of sheer rage of the people who were spies or undercover agents helping Israel during this time, they've just been scooping up people, calling them spies, and executing them right away. And if you know anything about justice and reality and how things are supposed to be, you don't just find people and within a few hours kill them because you may be mistaken. But that is how things work in the extremist Islamic world. It is how it happens, how they do it in Gaza. It is how they do it really all over the Middle East. Anytime they don't like something that you've done, all they need to do is accuse you of spying or participating in something, and within hours, you're gone. And so if you would pray for those in Iran who have risked their lives for the past decades, have gathered information to help thwart the threat against Israel, the nuclear threat against Israel, and not just Israel. It's stated from Iran that they were looking to attack not just Israel, but also the US and also the UK. And if you know anything about their mindset, that is the West. And they were only going to finish off Israel and then move on to the next step. Pray for those who have been fighting against this. Pray for Iran to have a leader that, should the Iranian people decide they want a different government, there has to be a leader to replace. If we don't have a leader to replace, then you simply have what happens in other Middle Eastern countries, which is you replace one terrible leader with another terrible leader. So it's not just about overthrowing whoever's there right now. It's about doing it in a way that works for the people, that works to give them more freedom. The other thing you can be praying for are the hundreds of Israelis who are now homeless, those who were wounded and lost family members in just the past few days. As things are going, it is likely that there are people alive right now who will not be alive in the morning because Iran is firing missiles at civilian targets, targeting civilian locations, highly residential areas. So pray for their safety. Pray for Israelis to be smart and go in the bomb shelter, not go out on their patios and try to film the rockets. And pray for those who have no home now to be able to reestablish, find places to move to. For those of you who want to get involved, thank you. I know you're writing us, how do we help? We have the Israel Needs Me Fund. If you go to israelneedsme.com, we are a nonprofit organization that has been around for 50 years. We have the highest financial ratings, and we will make sure that your funds go to help the Israeli people. Until next time, I'm Shani. Shalom from Jerusalem.